Well, the ground is wet. There's electrical cords running to the house, and we're going to play with fire. This can only end well. But in all seriousness, let's test it out. I'm going to use some lighter fluid because I'm going to cheat. Hope you don't see me right. There's some paper at the bottom of this. That was easy. All the terminal stuff behind there. Flip on the air. And I'll get it going and then we'll come back. It's doing pretty good. Threw some bigger stuff on there. We're about 5 minutes later. It don't play around. It burns it up right quick. That fan makes a big difference. And hopefully here before too much longer we'll have some coals. We might already. And I'm glad that the heat's not transferring too much. It's just that's not even warm yet. It doesn't even get warm up here to the adapter plate. That was my one concern. Seems to be doing good. And to prove you the fan does make a difference, if I turn the fan off, it will immediately start to slow down. Would it help if the wind would quit blowing? Makes a big difference. But yeah, seems to be working well. I maybe could have a bit stronger blower on there though, but we'll see. Let's try to get some coals. Quick note about this, I've been going for probably 30 minutes now. Charcoal or regular coal is definitely the way to go. It's too much of a pain to cut the sticks up a little. I definitely should use charcoal, so I don't know how successful this is going to be in getting this piece of metal hot. We'll give it a shot, so I'll come back in a couple minutes. I don't know, it's been about 5-10 minutes. Yeah, that's red hot. Cool. I don't know how much of that you can see. Yeah, it's not dark out, but I can see it was glowing when I took it out. That's thick steel too. I'll do a close-up of the metal after I cool this all down. Kind of letting it burn down now, and thought I'd check the metal again. Not bad at all. Definitely hot enough to pound out. I'm getting close. Needs to be a bit hotter. Charcoal is definitely a must. This one, however, I put in the poking stick that I have with it. Yeah, it's real flexible. I don't know. It might be hard for you to tell on camera, but it bends so easily. So that's what I wanted right there. And if I can straighten it out. Found this in the woods. It was all bent in a mess. But yeah. So it got plenty hot. Doesn't take much to bend it. We're just letting it burn down now because as you can see, the fire's getting kind of low. Just thought I would show you that it is in fact building up some coals. I have the camera way in zoom so I don't have to be up in it, but it is, I am winding down, but it's just the little sticks are burning off, and now you can see there's a decent amount of coals up in there. Not a ton, and I'm satisfied because this was all free wood. As you might tell, I have a few woods. Just a few. But anyway, Yeah. And another thing I would like to mention is that it doesn't appear to be getting too hot down here. Lots of radiant heat, but I can still touch everything. Sorry about the bad camera work. Yeah. It's a little bit better. Wish it was dark, get you to see that it is in fact hot. Looking down the belly of the beast there. Whew, this is hot on my hand. I don't know if you can see, but right there, that hole, hurts. Right there is where the air is coming out. Why? Because I can. If it doesn't burn through the bucket, that would be horrible. Oops. Oh well, I'm sure they'll rust. Got a little bit of a bluing effect there, that's nice. This end's a bit warm still. But, yeah. I'd say she got hot. There's a big difference between that end and this end. Let it dry off. Not much off of this end. Much as expected. Gosh, I'm stupid. Gosh, whoo, hot. Why? Because I can. Whew, jeez. How am I doing that? I'm sure you've all figured it out. Just thought I would clean it out a bit, get some of the ashes, but the fire seemed to have started back. Come back in a minute. Well, this thing's still hot. I thought I would go over what I thought worked well and what didn't. I thought that I really liked this design with the brake drum as the fire pot and then having a table and ash catch with the lawnmower. Thought that worked really well because I had the real hot fire here and then I had, like I found this rotten log. And it was all coming apart and whatnot, and it's a hair bit moist. And I could set it next to it and start to dry it out and get it ready for fire. It just keeps sticks there. So I thought that worked really well. I also thought that the, it's pretty sturdy. So I'm happy with that. It's not gonna, unless I'm doing something stupid, it shouldn't fall over. I was worried about the heat being too much for it. Because this is really, really hot. Lots of radiant heat. Like it feels like I'm putting my hand, you know, maybe over a pot of water right now that's been boiling, subtract the steam, but you know, but it really didn't do it. I mean, this is uncomfortable, and that would burn the mess out of me right where that line is, but it's completely fine here, and you know, this only got radiant heat on the surface here, but it's not even soft, it's just warm. Still works, which is a plus, and surprisingly my aluminum tape held up. I was really surprised because this, I still got to make a proper ash catch, and what I'm thinking about doing is maybe taking a large nut and welding it to the end of this, and then having just a bolt, the matching bolt, that I can simply screw up in there when we're about to light it up. Sorry, trying to get the tape off. But yeah, the things that I didn't really love though was I thought that the fire pot could actually have been a hair bit bigger, and look at that. There in the very middle it got red hot. I don't know if you can see it. But thought the fire pot could have been a bit larger, but I'm not going to complain too much because it just so happens that this particular brake drum, this was complete on accident, fits absolutely perfectly with my bottom of my lawnmower deck. I mean, that's a tight fit. It's sitting in there. I just took a hammer, tapped around it like you would a paint can lid. It's in there. It's not going to come out easily. I could get it out with another hammer going the other way, but it ain't just going to fall out. I also thought my blower could have been a hair bit stronger. This isn't a ton. I mean, there's air, but there's not as much as I would really like. So that might be something to address later. But I don't want too much air because then you could risk blowing the fire out. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm just kind of waiting for it to cool down, doing more stupid stuff in the meantime. You saw the blower idea. That was a great idea, and if I would tip it over and knock the ashes out, but quite frankly, it's kind of hot. And yeah, I also noticed, I assumed this was going to happen, but the rust is kind of giving way because this was all rusty, if you recall, to the black soot, ash, whatever you would call that mess. I wonder if it scrapes off. Nope, it doesn't appear to. But yeah, anyway, overall, I think it went pretty darn well. Probably this video is going to be broken up into 2 parts, and it probably already will be broken before this. But, yeah, overall, I think the only thing I'm going to take off is I'm going to take this off. It doesn't do enough, in my opinion. It's just a little too flimsy. But, I think the only other improvement that I'm going to make to it is the ash trap, plugging a little hole that here I noticed it was leaking air right there. And, maybe a stronger blower, but I don't know. And also using charcoal or real coal, preferably, instead of wood, because this was just a test run. I really wasn't doing anything, and just used what I had. One thing I would like to mention, though, this is definitely the way to light a fire. Normally I go with the old way. I have some starter wood out there, which is the stump of a pine tree that the sap has gone into, and you just split it and then light it, and it stays lit like a candle. I mean, it doesn't go down plain going overhead. But that's normally how I start fires, and then stoke it and whatnot. I found this. I inherited a whole bunch of just random cleaners, propane tanks, WD-40, that sort of stuff, from a friend who was moving. Got rid of a whole bunch of his stuff in his garage, and this was in here. So there's about a half a bottle left, and then torch lighter. That's definitely the way to start fires. But yeah, I think I'll call this ends here, and I might show it cleaned up, but if not, check you later, YouTube. I lied, YouTube. I'm back. Yeah, I know this will be in fact the last video. Clean everything up, get the tripod, just blew it out. But the one thing I wanted to mention, 2 things. One, for this design, and I'm sure like many other forges, cleanup is a breeze, because it's really easy to tip over with the legs. Just tip it over, get your blower, blow it out, and then that was just water from the bucket to keep it from starting a forest fire. The other thing I would really like to mention is keep your cord, if you do a design like this that's electric. I'm assuming it would pretty much have to be unless you use a weed eater, which, in case if you use a weed eater motor to power your forge, you, sir, are amazing. Just throwing that out there. But, that's my cord. It came off of a vacuum cleaner I got. Someone was scrapping it. That's just the full length of the vacuum cleaner cord. This one, the reason I used it is because it didn't have a ground prong, and most vacuum cleaners do. So, I thought, well, for this thicker stuff, I like it to have a ground. So I just use it because this is only a 2-wire machine. But as you can see, this is a good way away from the outlet, and I had a couple feet to spare anyway. And I don't know, maybe some odd 25 feet, maybe, from the house. The outlet's up there. So keep your cords long, because this is not really... You can't do it in your garage, and you certainly shouldn't do it next to like vinyl on a house, because that thing got hot. So, but yeah, that's it from me, YouTube. There'll be more videos of this hopefully to come. Cleaned up nice. Currently drying my tools. And, yeah. So that's it for the homemade forge.